Greetings, world. Welcome to another MEN-talRollaDeK podcast. Today's topic: what's the difference in parenting then versus now? Our esteemed co-host, Chantrice. Greetings, Queen.
Hey, what's up?
And our beautiful guest, Jasmine, aka Miss Sullivan. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm well, no complaints.
Okay.
So, guys, this is a topic we recently brought up. We were talking about it. We was kind of drifting off on it. But parents, what are the difference then versus now?
I mean, on the last episode when we were talking, I think you briefly touched on um how it takes a village and you know how you said that if you was wilding out in the streets, one of your neighbors could swoop you up, discipline you and then go tell your mother, or whatever. And that's even that alone is a drastic difference from now, because
hmm
now people can't touch your kids, let alone
At this
somebody
point,
else down
you
the
can't
street
touch your
touching them.
kids.
Exactly.
How they try to put it out there like that.
Yeah. And then also at the same time, a lot of the new parents are trying to take alternative routes of discipline because, back in the day, you get swapped for raising your voice a little bit, not asking the question right or answering. I remember back in the day, I used to get popped in the mouth when I would answer my mom what or
hmm
huh.
I could not call my mom mother. She
Yeah.
said that, yeah, she said that was an insult. Like I was calling her, basically like, like what you want, B, in a sense. Because, you say how you say mom or mommy, you don't say mother. You be like, okay, mother. It's kind of like how your kids call you bruh now. Like, I don't know where that came from. It's disrespectful to me. But
Yeah.
that's a new generational thing, I guess, that I don't accept in my home. But this new thing. So a lot has changed over time. I think too, from what Chantrice was saying a little bit, that I think now in today's time, our generation, I feel like millennials kind of recognize the
I think we
I would say
recognize the
kind of the
toxicity in
this
our parenting.
the generational curses that happen, and we're recognizing the unhealthiness and everything, so we're wanting to raise our children in a better environment, raising our children to be heard and seen, um because back in the day, children were seen nor heard, so in a sense. So I think that you know I personally take on parenting um with I take a little bit of back in the day, and what I'm trying to implement now with teaching my sons that okay, discipline is one thing, but still talking about how they're feeling, expressing themselves, things like that I don't feel like they did back in the day.
I think new generation, same toxicity in a different format. Um, Back then, like you said, we weren't seen or heard. Like, especially like for me, my experience is like if when two adults is talking, go sit somewhere.
Listen, that's still shit. We still do that in this house.
and and we haven't noticed the psychological damage that was done to us. So that
Mhm.
even now as adults, it's like we salute our parents for abusing us because we said, hey, that abuse worked. Look at how I turned out, so on and so forth. But the thing that I found out with parents now is that, especially for me, I'm guilty of this. We we stand tough with our chest out, like, hey, I'm not gonna be like my mom, I'm not gonna be like my father, but
Mhm.
indirectly we're just like them.
Yeah.
Mm.
So everything's a lie to me. But I kind of loved the parenting then. You didn't see moms in the club dancing with their daughters or going after the same dude.
That's true.
But the boundaries were just different. I
The
mean, I don't want to
boundaries
say
were a
that.
little different, and
Yes,
the times were different. I
yeah,
think, and the
the
family
boundaries were
structures were
solid.
different too. You have to think about the family structures of back then and what they are now. That makes a huge difference.
But what is the difference in dynamic, though?
I mean, I think that back then there was more of, of a two-parent households in a sense. It was more, well, I would say, I mean, I born in the 80s, but I mean, that's when a lot of Black men, I feel like, was railroad, like to prisons. And so I feel like, the crack era and all that, I feel like, the families kind of was starting to get broken up, but there was still a little sense of family. And now I just feel like there's a lot more teen pregnancies, but no out of wedlock. Back then there was tons of teen pregnancies, but they
But
got
everybody was
married
married.
to who they were with. And that was the difference. And now I feel like there's not that family aspect as it was. Not saying that that's right or anything, but I'm just saying I think like now it's just like single mothers basically are raising, in a sense, single mothers.
Let's talk about that. Why are most moms single? Don't tell me it's the dude's fault either. Honestly, answer that question.
No. I don't think it's. I think that, like I said, the family structure was broken at one point. So I think mothers were just trying to, survive and make it. I was actually just talking about this with my mom, saying like, in a sense, like I feel like women sometimes are harder on their daughters than their sons, because I feel like, especially in a single parent household, like a single mother household, I feel like, sometimes, they single mothers have a tendency to kind of praise their sons sometimes, and because, and uplift them more, and then kind of harder on their daughters because they know how hard it is for women,
As a single mother, and
to
don't
be
want
a
them to
single
go down
mother,
that
that you
same
want to,
route. Yeah.
condition them in a sense, and make them independent so they don't have to depend on a man if they do get pregnant, and they are left to raise a child. They just won't be like, well, you know what I'm saying? So I think that in that aspect, that they're a little harder sometimes on single mothers, a little harder on their daughters in that sense. And as
But
in, yeah,
when
go
it
ahead.
comes to though, why there are so many single mothers out here, I mean, just a long time ago, it's just normalized, because there's the thing about it is, what do I always talk about? I talk about incentives. So there's incentives to do positive things and negative things. So back in the day, the incentive to not be a single mother, I mean, it was even a shame to be a divorced mother, but even that was, started to become more okay than you have never been married at all. So having children out of wedlock was you were completely like shamed, like to the point where, I mean, honestly, even if you move to another town or something, if you move to another town, you could at least lie and be like, oh, I was married, but my husband died. And people respect widows.
Yeah.
But now,
yeah,
there is no shame associated with that type of behavior. So I don't think that most girls want to be single mothers walking into it. But when they end up single mothers, there's like, oh, okay, well, I'll just do what I need to do to raise my kid. Like, there's no like, are you ashamed of this? You know what I mean? So, it's just that has normalized it.
And then we have to go with, okay, why there's no, the single mothers, the fathers aren't taken up for, I don't think, the men are being raised to really step up at this point. So we won't have single mothers, in a sense. And
not raised to, if you get a girl pregnant, you're expected to marry her back in the day. Now, whether I believe that that's right or not, it was customary back in the day.
There were principles.
Yes, exactly. That if you got this girl pregnant, you was going to be getting married pretty soon. You know what I mean? So now it's like, oh, well, you pregnant? What you gonna do? Like what?
Yeah.
See, I think the other day I posed a question on my page. Why is it okay for most women, this syndrome per se? And I believe like some of it is systematic. Um, I feel like most of our women buy into the system a little bit too much. So the dynamics of the household changed once welfare came into play, once government aid came into play, and the objective for them is to separate the family anyway because it's beneficial to them. So it's like even in society today, I feel like a lot of our women tend to go more with the system and bite off the system, but the system is screwing them because like at the end of the day, whosoever is running the system and upholding this shit is actually going home to their family. And their husband could be a piece of shit. Their wife could be a piece of shit. But guess what? You won't see it in the streets. You won't see the fights. You won't see anything. Everything happens inward. But when it comes to Aboriginal, so-called Black, the Moorish family household, it's like we're going to destroy them. Period. We're going to make them depend on us. We're going to make their kids wards of the state. When the mom sign over the estate by signing that birth certificate, automatically takes the father out of the household. We're going to put their dads in jail. If they're not about shit, we're going to make sure they stay not about shit. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you summed it up. I mean, and also, and for the most part, that government cushion that women have to fall back on also makes them a little bit more irresponsible when it comes to that area, because like I always use Brazil as a close example to us because they're like as far as like their economy and social structure is close to ours. They don't have welfare. So if you get pregnant, then that's just it. That I mean, you either don't show up with this baby or this is another mouth to feed. That ain't no welfare check, ain't no food stamps, ain't no nothing.
And it's crazy to me, like you even take it a step further. Why is it legal for a woman to take a piece of a man's fortune if she didn't help him build it?
Okay, that's a whole different show.
Yeah.
No. It falls into the category of family, of parenting.
Okay.
I mean, like how? Like through marriage, divorce?
Yes, through marriage. What do you mean? You were speaking of marriage earlier. You said earlier when certain people had kids.
I believe that if you break the marriage contract, then I can take your fortune how you decide to put that.
But that goes straight into a realm of actually having kids. The father don't have the same rights as you have as a woman.
I don't agree. I don't agree at all.
This is why I have to file for legitimacy for my kid if I want to be a part of his life. You get what I'm saying? Naturally, everything falls on you. You automatically get everything.
Yeah, in a sense. But
I mean,
once again, and I agree with you by saying that, but you know what you saying that, it's a lot of men who don't even try to even do that.
Yes.
So
men could have more rights over children if they had
sometimes they don't want to do the extra work. Yes,
most men don't.
Yeah, most men. I always say, personally, I have 4 sons, so hopefully they can all be married and happy and have families. But I'm being realistic, and I'm raising my sons to always be providers and to take care of theirs. Okay, whether it be kids, their families, whatever. So from that, me and my husband, I would say me and my husband, not just me. So from that, I just feel that sorry, I got sidetracked.
No, I think what you're saying is from that, I mean, if hypothetically speaking, one were to get a divorce, I mean, he could, if he wants those rights, he can feel free to go to court and fight me tooth and nail for him. But the reality is that most fathers don't. And lawyers, I think there's some type of statistics on it. I heard it before, don't quote me on it. I'm sure it's a quick Google search away, but they'll tell you of the percentage of fathers who actually fight for their children. And I hate when men be like, oh well, she won't let me see my kids. Listen, there's not, when it comes to the court system, when you fight as hard as she is, there's nothing she can do about this unless you do some crazy shit, like take your kids outside of state lines.
No woman can ever keep you away from your children, and that's what I want my sons to know. That's what I was trying to get to. Thank you, Chantrice, for putting me back on track. I was like, wait, hold up. No, I don't care what any man says. No woman can ever keep you away from your children. Even if you have to fight tooth and nail, you have to save every receipt. You go to court and you show everything that you have and lay it out, even though it's sad that it has to get to that point, because I'm not saying all women are perfect, and there's a
lot of crazy bitches out here.
It might be, she actually might be unstable and crazy and vindictive and all of that. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. There are women that are that way, that don't want you to see their kids just because you're not with them or whatever the situation may be. But at the end of the day, if you take everything that you did on paper and you submit that to that judge, you cannot tell me that they're going to say, okay, well, you done did everything, so you can't have custody, or you can't get visitation, or you can't. No, you just take what you need to do and do it through court, and don't even deal with her. And everything that she does vindictive toward you, you document it, you write it down, you do whatever you need to do. But that is never a reason. And that's what a lot of men take that as, oh, well, I don't want to. A lot of men don't want to do it.
I say it is a lot of work. Easier, since it's harder to deal with the baby mama.
It's easier to walk away than
deal
fight.
With the kids. Right.
83% of the time, the mother ends up with the kids. All right.
True.
Yes, true.
In parent custody agreement, 29%. Right. Involvement, 11%. 5% being decided after court order custody evaluation. So it swings in a female's favor most of the time,
because women are not going to stop fighting for their kids.
Never.
So
the thing for me is, as a man, like you said earlier, nobody should keep you away from your kid. As long as I have breath in me, that's not going to happen. I'm going to fight for mines. You know what I'm saying? Because most women, or you could say men as well, they have this philosophy within their head, like, oh, I love them more than you do. Not because I don't show my emotions like you do doesn't mean I don't love my kids the way you do. They be like, oh, I carried them. Like, okay, you carried him.
That doesn't have nothing to do with a bond.
But they use that. They use that.
I could see a lot of women doing that. I personally don't, but I see women doing that.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, you physically carry, it doesn't mean that I don't love my kid. Like,
exactly.
It's weird. And I feel like you said, no one has the blueprint on being a great parent, but the abuse from the past that we take to parent now is a problematic thing.
I mean, well, most fucked up things that we do come from a place of trauma, from childhood. I mean, honestly, I feel like once you turn 18, you should come with a freaking fucking court appointed therapist, because we all have to deal with stuff from our childhood. The point is, now that I'm an adult, do I recognize the trauma that I bring from the past, and am I going to actively change it, or am I going to be fucked up and be like, well, ain't nobody helped me when I was a kid, and repeat that same?
A lot of men repeat the cycle.
Yes,
because it's easy to repeat a cycle.
Yeah, not alone. When you're not open to criticisms, and also like you have to be open to even changing your ways, for one, and a lot of people are not. Like I said, a lot of people, well, my parents hit me, whooped me, and I came out all right. But I always say, yes, but every child is different.
Yes.
You might have been the tougher of the two, and you came out all right. But your brother, equally raised in the same household as you, is now a drug addict criminal.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't handle it.
Yeah, and
So
especially, and that goes in with what you were saying with the trauma, because I'm learning, having 4 children, and I'm the only child, okay? Like, so I don't have any type of sibling dynamic or anything. So I'm going into this really like, okay, you know, I'm trying to make sure that each of them, I discipline and parent them differently. They all can't be, and that's one thing that I'm doing now, as in we were talking about earlier, traditional versus, today's time. I'm trying to parent each of my children differently, how they need to be parent. I'm learning my children's love languages. I'm parenting them the best way that they need to be parented, because like you said, Chantrice, every kid don't need a whooping every day. You know what I'm saying? Every kid don't need to be talked down. Well, no kid should be talked down to, but don't just need you might could just raise your voice a little bit, for this one, or this one, you may just need some things taken away. And I think that is a key role into parenting, is recognizing your children's love language and parenting accordingly to each specific child, because lumping them all together causes trauma, because you're like messing up one of your kids in the head. They might have issues, later on, and be like, Mom, you always yelled at me and that really hurt me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And that happens a lot, because you think you're doing the best you could do, but then to them it was damaging. So that's why I'm just personally trying to learn, each one of my child's love language, love them how they need to be loved, teach them how they, how they should be, how they should treat people, how they should love people, and go from there. And I think that is a big difference between now and then.
What do you think?
I have a question. Do you think females emasculate their boys?
I think some women do. Yes, I do. That comes with I think it's.
I feel like that can kind of come with the emotional maturity of the mother too.
Yeah, it goes. That's kind of like it's an open question. It's really broad, because it's really broad, because it's like,
I told you my questions are loaded.
I do think that, but at the same time, I don't. Like I said earlier, I think that women do kind of baby, in a sense, their sons sometimes, and hold them to a standard, because maybe they don't have that men in their life, so they're trying to,
whose standard is she holding them to?
Hers, and that's the problem. Her standard. That
and that's an issue for me, because like, I'm not saying women can't converse with men, but like, in certain aspect, when women aim to dictate to a man, like I'll hear stupid shit like, "Oh, you're not a real man, and you're this, that, and the third, and blah blah blah." Oh, you don't, or every little thing they're trying to jump in. Like, yo, let me talk to my sons. Like, relax.
See, that is a very good thing, because like I said, I have a very traditional / non-traditional, parenting style and marriage. I'm very traditional, as in the roles. I'm a stay-at-home mom, because my husband, I'm the main discipliner, because my husband is gone for long periods of time. So from that, when my husband is home, at the end of the day, I can't raise a man. I can't. And I trust my husband and the man that he is today, that he's going to raise his sons how they need to be raised. And I trust every bit of me to raise a son. So when it comes to disciplining, when it comes to him wanting to say something to his sons, I never butt in. I never do, even though I don't agree with it, because those are my babies. I'm like, oh my God, don't do that. I mean, and I'm like, why are you talking to him that way? But
do you do it in front of the kids, or you wait till
I never corrected him or stopped him from disciplining or talking to our children in front of my children, because at the end of the day, well, that's a marriage thing. That's a marriage aspect. Well, I mean, I feel like honestly, it could be a co-parenting aspect as well. I just feel like you're a team, regardless. Co-parenting, marriage, relationship, baby daddy, whatever you want to call it. You're a team. Okay.
Baby
And
daddy.
it's us versus them. Okay. That's how I look at it. That's how I tell Chantrice. I'm like, it's us versus them kids. Okay.
Right.
So we got to be on the same page in order for them, to be like, okay,
Yeah.
because even though, I could see, like I said, I could see my husband, disciplining or saying whatever he needs to say, and I don't agree with it. And as much as everything in me wants to be like, no, I don't. Because why? Because I don't want our children to see that divide. That's unhealthy.
Yeah.
They can feel it.
Children
They can feel it.
see weakness.
And that's not a healthy environment for them to feel a divide, or they feel like they can undermine a parent, their father, and feel like, oh well, mom said this. That's not okay.
I'm the bad guy to my kids right now.
I'm the bad guy to my kids, and I'm the mom.
No, I'm being honest. Like, I'm the bad guy to my kids. Like, I'm strict, but the thing for me is, I'm very tedious when it comes to paying attention to things. So I'm a fatherless father, by the way. My father not being there doesn't change me not being a dad or whatever. I see a lot of that shit as an excuse. But it comes to my kids, like, I'm very strict. Like, you go somewhere, hey, pay attention to your surroundings. Where's the exits? How does it look? What are we in here for? Why are you playing in the store? We came food shopping.
Right.
But if they're with their mom, they're free to do whatever the hell they want to do. They want to run off. You run off, I want to kill you. Not literally, but don't play that with me. We move together. Let's move as a unit.
Exactly. And that's
don't
how
play
it should
with me.
That's where you want to aim to get together, because the kids can't see, even though there is a divide in your relationship, as in, you not being with who, the baby's mother, or, your child's mother or whatever, there still needs to be a united front. And your children's sense that divide. And it can go both ways. It can cause trauma, or they can honestly take advantage of it. And
because they know they can do what the fuck they want to do.
Because they
at their
know,
mom's house.
and that goes with the sense, I can do this over here, but I can't do this over here, and they be like, well, I don't want to go to dad's house. And that's, and she'd be like, well, he doesn't want to go to your dad, and she can use that against you.
I go through that, but you know what I started to do now? Before, I used to give 2, 3, 4, 5 fucks about not seeing my kids and she using the shit against me. But now I don't give no fucks. So what I will do is I will block everybody. I'll block the kids. I block her. Like, I don't even answer her calls no more. Text me. I want to. No, seriously, I want to record everything. Text me.
Yeah, understood.
Because it's like, one, you want to tell me how to be a father. You don't have a book on that shit. That's one. Yeah. 2, when circumstances change, I step back. Like, I don't aim to correct you in front of them. If I do something, why in front of them? Right? So I feel like, one, she's emasculating my kids.
Yes.
Right? And 2, it's like they don't understand certain things. And I'm guilty of this too, because what I used to do is, like, even when I would do stuff, I would say, oh, your mom did it. Like, if I provide and do anything, because I don't care about the sentimental value of saying I did this or blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I was like, your mom did it. But that shit creates another monster, because they feel like mom did everything, but they don't see what you're doing in the background as a father. You get what I'm saying?
But that sounds like that's more of her, too.
It is.
Okay.
It is. Because I mean, we're in therapy right now for that shit.
I mean, but at the end of the day, I mean, thanks to, it sounds like your parenting style, your sons are going to be better off for it. Because the thing about that is, parents who, and my own cousin has gone through this with his young daughter. Parents who allow their children to just kind of do what they want to do, not only are they no good in the household, but now when you send them off into the world and they come over Auntie's house, Auntie Sean's house, and I'm babysitting and they disrespecting me, and I'm like, why I'm sitting here talking to my best friend? Why are you sitting here looking in my mouth at me talking? You need to know, common respect as a child. And it's like, oh, well, I do that. My mom lets me do
And
this.
you know what? I'm
no.
gonna butt in and agree with you, Chantrice. But sorry, before I forget this thought. But I feel like maybe your child's mother doesn't respect you, so that's kind of playing off of she doesn't respect you in the and the role that you play. So it's coming, I feel like, I don't think it's it's coming off in your children not respecting you, in a sense. I mean, they respect you when they're around you, but in the sense, she's making it okay for them to say, like, certain things. And, oh, well, mom said this, so I don't have to listen to you. I'm not saying that is your situation.
No, you're on point. Go ahead, keep talking, I'm listening.
No, I mean,
that's when you got to pop them in their mouth.
No,
next time you say "mom said" in this house, you getting popped.
If you talk about whooping and popping somebody else's kids,
I don't do that. But the thing is, like, I aim to make them understand more what it is. I don't give a shit who it is. Like, I'm your father. That's your mom. Mommy and daddy lies about certain things. So how about you? If it doesn't feel right to you, question it. Question everything. I don't give a shit who it is. Don't take what somebody says as face value. And I guess it's because they're more so around her more than in me, because I'm working most of the time.
But like I said, I'm in that non-traditional setting of, I mean, yes, I'm married, but it's still I'm the main disciplinarian in the house because my husband is never really home. So I understand that, but his presence is still here. I make it still here, even though he's not physically here. My sons do something, I discipline them. I said, what would your father do? What would he say to you? What, you know what I'm saying? And that, and he was like, well, daddy would make me do bear crawls, daddy. Cause my oldest son, once again, us trying to be the best parents we can be, instead of, whooping our children for every little thing, as in back in the day, we said earlier, my husband, my oldest son, the best thing to do, my husband disciplines him by working out. He like, he runs his ass to and from fields, make him do bear crawls, all that, everything. He be dying, all that. So that is his discipline. So, he knows, I was like, so what would daddy do? So since you did this, what would daddy say and what would daddy do? Would daddy say that you know better and da 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 da? And I said, so what would daddy would make you do? Okay. Oh, he will make me do, this. He will make me do bear claws. He will make me, what are those things? Burpees. So what I said, well, go ahead, drop and give me 50. The fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Because you have to be, even though your other person, the other parent is not, there, that does not mean that they're not there.
And
so
that's
something that y'all have to get on the same page.
I value that, but I don't feel like we'll ever be on the same page.
Well, because you don't know what's in the future. Honestly, it might. I think that it might be, she has to get over. I think a lot of people with the co-parenting, if they get over their feelings, it's not about what they want. It's about the kids and us parenting. Well, the children.
But
so once those personal feelings get out the way,
I can't tell you.
That'll be fine.
You don't know if she has a real man.
I don't know.
Okay, well, if you don't know, then she doesn't. Therefore,
well, that's not true. she might. You don't know that. Well, we ain't gonna talk about this. We're not gonna talk about this woman. We don't know her.
I don't care either way. The thing for me is the kids.
Yeah, and
right?
that's
Yeah,
definitely.
We need to
saying
have we
it's
need to
not
have an
fair.
understanding for the kids.
It's not fair, but when the party, whether it's the mom or the dad that keeps acting out and messing things up for y'all, when they move
She's
on and
not
become
over her
happy in their
personal feelings.
personal
She
life,
hasn't
when
released.
she find a new
You
husband,
understand? She
then
hasn't
things will
released
go a
you
lot
yet.
smoother.
She hasn't
Yeah.
released that everything that she has against you, or she doesn't respect you for what you did. It's something that is
But
holding her, that is not letting her just parent with you.
she's holding herself back. I mean, at the end of the day, I look at it like this. You just got to live your life and enjoy it for the moment. And I can't stand controlling people. I'm controlling, but I will give control as well. Like
That's how I am.
I can't stand
I'm a control freak.
I can't stand controlling people. Like you want to be the man and the woman too? How you do that?
See, that's not me. Like, I'm a control freak because the thing is though I respect my husband and his value that he brings to us, because like I said, regardless, I always tell my husband, if I'm just realistic. I'm a realist. I'm like, I love you, I'm gonna be with you, but if some shit go left, he knows my deal breakers. So if he decides to hit those deal breakers, then he knows what's going to happen from those deal breakers. But I will never ever, I said, I can never hate him because he is such a good father. So regardless of the feelings that I have and how much he hurt me, he didn't hurt his kids. Yes, he broke up our family union in my head, but I have to get over that, because once again,
About the church.
women hold on regardless of what she's telling you and how you're looking at it. She's holding on something that you did to her, or something that she feels that you're responsible for. Something she hasn't released that. I don't know what it is.
I don't care what it is.
But you don't care, but that's what she has to do, her work. That's something that, you're right, she has to get over, and then that's when it'll get better for you guys.
Yeah, if you hate someone, you're only hating yourself. If you distrust someone,
I can never hate the father of my children.
I'm just giving an example where people don't understand. If you distrust someone, you don't trust yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like that's everything that you say you don't like about someone is basically what you don't like about yourself. But people don't look at shit like that.
That's the truth.
Because nobody wants to actually take accountability most of the time. They just want to point. It's easy to blame somebody else. You get what I'm saying? Like I even say this to like my female friends, not because you can actually change the light bulb, it doesn't mean you're supposed to change the light bulb, fam.
Well, my grandmother, she says, even though you can open the pickle jar, that don't mean, this is saying, if you have a man, sometimes you need to ask him to open the pickle jar. We know we can open the pickle jar, but sometimes a man needs to feel like a man, right? And he, just to make him feel better, just open the pickle jar. It's not about, like I said earlier, I would be considered a control. Well, I don't know, Chantrice, am I a control freak?
I feel like you're very much in control most of the time. And when you can't control things, you feel uncomfortable. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. You're good at that. You're a great leader. I tell you that all the time.
Yeah, I think that I'm a good leader.
That's the final answer.
That is the answer.
So she said basically she agrees I'm a control freak. So
leading and being a control freak is a total different aspect.
But see,
it's
me and your husband
honestly,
see that
I'm not even
in
lie.
you.
It's a little bit of both sometimes.
I would love to see you under pressure.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm actually great under pressure.
I don't like you under pressure, actually.
Wait, what? Hold up. Cut.
So
yeah, because I'm liable to get cussed out when you're under pressure.
Well, okay. Well.
So let me ask you this, right? If you lack the capacity to know what a father is, how or why would you tell a man he's not a good father? What standards or what blueprint are you following to initiate that?
I feel like one could tell you that because I'm trying to hurt your feelings, and I know that's important to you. So you ain't shit. You're not a good father. You're never here.
Yeah,
All the things I can
that's
think
easy.
of.
That's the easy thing
Yeah.
to
And then I
to
know
go
it's
to.
gonna hurt your feelings and you're gonna feel some type of way about it. Even if you go cuss me back out, I know that when we got off the phone here, you were thinking about that shit. You know
Hurt
what I
people
mean?
hurt people.
So
You
that
know.
is why. Yeah, so that's why I would do that.
How do we
And
alleviate hurt people in parenting and relationships?
Like I said, I don't. She doesn't. Once she gives up that she doesn't have the blueprint, especially if you guys have sons, she's gonna have to trust you with raising your sons, and that's something she has to do the work within herself. We all come to a place as women, and I'm not going to say age dependent, because some of the, some women you see 40 making dumbass decisions, but I'm going to say maturity, because you could be 21 and be mature than somebody that's 50. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
age dependent. A woman comes a time in her life when, like I said, I had to do a lot of soul searching. Until I did the soul searching and what I needed to do with my life, because I was out there, okay? Like, me and Chartrice, we
We
was
was
hitting them
out
streets,
there.
okay? We was out there before kids, before marriage. But once I finally did the work on myself and was like, okay, why do I keep getting these type of men? Why do I keep getting this situation? Who is the common factor? Me. None of these dudes know each other. None of these people know each other. They all have me in common. So what do I need to change in me to not get the same outcome? And until a woman is ready to have that mindset and change herself and get herself right, everything, she's not, no good is going to come. It's nothing good is going to come from it. She's blocking her blessings in a sense. And until you're, the other parent, like I said, I just think that she doesn't respect. I don't know what happened in the
No.
past or whatever,
Well,
but
I
she's
mean, it
still
started
she's still
early on.
holding on to hurt. And once she just released, like, you know what, I don't care what he did, I don't care how he hurt me, I don't care whatever, I'm trying to work on myself, I'm trying to get myself here. And you know what do we need? Until she come to you and be like, hope and ardently, and be like, you know what, I respect you for providing and doing what you need to do to take care of your children. And I said, and we got a lot of work to do, but I'm willing to sit here and do the work with you and to get to where I want to be, because that's where I'm at. And until she's ready to work on herself, which every woman comes into a time period in her life where she has to work on herself.
Well, I hope.
Age dependent.
Well, I hope she
Again,
don't. Well, I hope she don't turn 50 and try to work on that shit.
some,
But yeah,
hey, some women do. I'm not even gonna lie.
um,
Some women,
Mm-hmm.
some women do. It takes time. It's just it's a mentality. Some people are immature, just like men. Some men ain't ready to settle down till they 50, 60 years old. You know what I'm saying? And
I just honestly, I just want the opportunity to do what I must do. Like the way I think, I'm thinking for the present, and because I really don't say shit like, "Oh, I'm thinking for the future," because every time you turn around, you're standing in the present, right? So certain things I think about, it's not receptive to the other person. I'm like, yo, wait, you're raising, like, yo, you gotta have lawyer money. Like, yo, college is coming up. Like, yo, you gotta this, you
see,
gotta
yeah,
that.
well, that's
Like,
one of the biggest things, just being in a relationship with somebody and having children with them. They don't think about people think about, and they in love with the aspect of that person, but when you end up having a
Don't
child with that
understand that
person,
children are forever. Like
children
that kill that's
children
what
change a
kills me.
lot. Children
People
change
will
your
think
goals. Children
about,
change your life.
yeah.
They just change and fuck shit up. That's what they come in and do, and they just rearrange it, and you have to rearrange everything
in
for
actuality, they teach you how to be a greater person. They
that.
teach you how to
And
think.
yes, they do. And it's not that it's not fucking it up for the bad, it's fucking up for the better. And that's what I look at it is. My kids, I was thrown into parenthood, and then I'm like, okay, where's this taking me? But it's honestly the best thing that ever could have happened to me when it happened to me, and I just didn't know that at that time. But yeah, it's
I mean, but for the most part, honestly, like people, like I said, people are quick, well, rather, won't think more soon about having a baby with you than marriage. When it's like, to
somebody.
me, baby is forever. Like, I could easily
Yeah.
divorce you and
Yeah.
move on with my life, but this
But
baby
having
is linking
having
us
a child is forever.
permanently.
You have to be
Like,
on the
come
same
on.
page.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to like, you know, like I'll take for me, for example, I was just talking to my husband about finances. You know, I'm a housewife. I have a little side business, you know, but you know, mainly he's the provider, the breadwinner, but he trusts me with everything because he know how you know, he knows how I manage money. That's what he fell in love with. He felt I was independent. I had what I needed to have before he even met. So he was like, okay, I see what she got, you know, and what she's doing. But you know, it just came to a fact where, you know, it was just easier, and we agreed that, you know, he supported in whatever I wanted to do. As in, you want to stay at home, you stay at home. You want to go work, we'll figure it out. We can go work, you know, whatever. He supported me in whatever I wanted to do. But at the same sense, you have to get on the same page, as in, you know, like, okay, well, we're saving to buy a house, but also you know, we got life insurance now. You got to be on the same page, you know, because we got, you know, people that need to still be, you know, cared for if something happened to us.
And
College.
that's the thing, because past tense parenting, if somebody goes, they goes, and they leave you their debt.
Exactly.
Right.
Now now they don't do life insurance, they go GoFundMe, so that's kind of done came
I'm about to
over.
say,
Like,
now we
I
gotta have a GoFundMe to bury you.
don't agree with that. I said
Fam.
I'd be damned if my kids do a fucking GoFundMe account. I'd be like, you know good and well you done got life insurance, so don't contribute to it because they a
You
damn lie.
And this is what I like. This is what I like about most Caribbean women. Like, they started paying for their stuff, their burial. Like, they got the plot, they got the stone, they got everything is already taken care of.
Yeah,
I'm
so
ready.
literally you just have to die.
Exactly.
Right.
But nowadays, it's like everything is so open, man. Like, there's no privacy to parenting now. Like the government want to pay. Oh, you can't do this to your kid, and I look at front.
Yeah, there's that.
Like, this
that's
is my
thing.
Like, this is my kid, fam. What the fuck?
That's actually a good topic, because me and Chantrice was just talking about that. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. And today I feel like kids have a little more, I feel like, since they have technology and people telling them, you know, all the resources that we somewhat didn't have. They have all the knowledge to say like, oh, you know, or, you know, well, they can do that. Or if they go talk to
my mama said she
counselor,
gonna
they
beat
be
me when
like,
she get home
wait,
from
your mother, wait, your dad, you know,
she
punished
hits
you, and
you.
wait, they made you do this, you know. I feel like, and then you can't punish your child. And, you know, what CPS is called. You like, wait, hold up, you know. So it's like a lot of parents are scared to parent their children.
But the crazy shit was, on my second son, I didn't realize. If I knew this shit, I wouldn't have signed the birth certificate. There was social workers in the hospital after my son was born.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I never paid attention to that shit. But then I started paying attention to the like how child support works and how the birth certificate has a lot to do with it. They're supposed to tell you, they're supposed to educate you on these things, but they never do. And a lot of men, right, that's going through child support don't realize that shit is fraudulent, and they don't think they can get out of it. You get what I'm saying? That's what the social worker was there for. But I never knew that shit.
Well, in California, if you are not married to, if you're married, then that's your, you know, it's no ifs, ands, or buts. But in California, if I'm not mistaken, they have a social worker come talk to you and the father, or, you know, or if the father's not there, and they, you know, they kind of give you the resources to get a DNA test, and you have to sign a petition if you don't want a DNA test, because, you know, once you sign that birth certificate in California, if it's yours, it's yours. It don't matter if it's not. So that's how it is here. And that's why you have to sign a petition saying, like, basically, like, I know this is my child. I'm not going to take a DNA test. I'm not going to, you know, I'm legally responsible for this child. And that's how it is here. And, like, you know, even if you're married and your child ain't your husband's and you just doing some crazy stuff, your husband is still legally bound to that child and has to take care of another man's baby.
Once he signed a birth certificate. And that's another system and a means to an end that female get away with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
the thing about it was that I had 2 of my kids in California, right? My husband was deployed. Both of the times I gave birth. He wasn't home for both of my first 2 sons. So he didn't sign the birth certificate to those because I wasn't there. But when I had my second 2 in Washington they have a sign where they don't even have a thing for the father to sign. So he didn't even have to sign anything. I literally just did all the paperwork. It was no signing or anything. And that's actually it's crazy. So he honestly hasn't signed any other birth certificates because I just did the paperwork. He wasn't there for the first 2, he was deployed. So but Washington, they don't even have a part, you just say who the father is and that's it.
I mean, Washington doesn't even have a gender.
Washington State.
It's not a state. It's not a state.
Yeah, Washington State does not even have the gender area now.
They have gender like an X. You don't have to
exactly.
When the baby is born, you don't have to sign in the gender when baby is born.
That's that Rome shit. That shit belongs to England. So
that's that craziness. But I actually agree with the first thing, that if you sign the birth certificate in California, because they give you an opportunity to get a DNA test.
They do.
If you waive that shit.
So if you waive
that's on you. So sign his birth certificate, and this baby you're legally responsible for it.
I mean, I don't understand what's the issue with fathers. It doesn't matter if it's your kid or not. Still do the DNA test.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Is this some shit to get off your back?
Because I, for one, will be getting a DNA test with my son's wife.
She's funny.
I can't guarantee you that I won't swab my grandbaby. He ain't got to
listen. Listen, we don't have no light-skinned people in this family, and this baby.
If that's the case, I guess my mom should have swabbed my ass when she had.
And this baby got blonde hair.
On the darkest side of the bunch.
We're not playing those games.
Okay, well, what is your disdain for for mothers being 16, 14 and up?
That doesn't really. Actually, the teen pregnancy rate goes down every year, and really isn't a big thing how it really used to be when we were coming up. Honestly,
Damn.
But
check out Baltimore.
And in that case, I mean, can you blame those girls? Their mothers are probably single mothers.
I think that it's normalized.
But it's gone down. It has look at the statistics. If it's probably a Google search away. I don't quote me on it.
I'm not doing it this time. But go ahead.
But I don't have any daughters. Nor was I a teen mother, so I can't really speak up on a lot of that. But I can say that I personally I don't look at them any type of way. I do look at if there was any trauma or anything that led to this, sexual abuse or any type of anything, underlying issues that led to her being promiscuous or or whatever, or just
not even being promiscuous.
Young. And I have been 16 in a messed up relationship, and you think somebody love you, you in love, and you end up, making decisions that you're not ready to make, and things end up happening. I never been in that situation either, but I've been, dangerously in love, and unfortunately, thinking that was everything that it needed to be at 16, and it wasn't. So I could see a lot of women, a lot of girls that get sucked into that, and then they think, oh, well, this is cute because it is normalized. It's cute. Oh, I'm about to have a baby. Oh, so it's not because like we said back in the day, that was shunned on. You was
exactly
scarlet letter. What do you mean you're pregnant? Oh my God, I can't hang out with you.
Parents, your family will send you away.
Sent off to your baby up for adoption, or the auntie raising the baby, and
that baby get raised as your sibling.
You didn't. Yeah, it's a lot of that. Your grandma's raising. You think that's your.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of It's a
So,
lot of
I
stuff.
mean, but at the same time, most of the time in those situations, that's that generational curse shit.
Yeah.
Most likely her mother was a teenage mom and her grandmother is only 50. So, you know, um that's what usually happens in those situations of why a girl would actually have a baby
I
at like
think, yeah, and it's a lot of situations that can come from that. It could be trauma,
yeah.
it could be abuse, it could be her just thinking she in love. But whatever the case may be, I just want to know. I just want to know that even if you are 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old having a kid, that's not the end of your life. You could still recover and you could still do what you want to do. It's on pause for a bit, but you could still,
I don't
do what you need
condone
to
that
do.
shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't condone that shit.
I
Well,
don't
then what's
condone
your
it, but it
opinions
might
on it?
happen.
But this is my pet peeve, like, because I feel like us as parents sometimes what we do unconsciously and unaware of it, like kind of like the old school parents, they used to be like, oh, go there, go sit, don't watch me while I speak. And I notice the more curious kids are,
Mm-hmm.
the quicker they go explore when they get of age.
Yeah.
And another thing I don't like, you kicking your kid out at the age of 18 is bullshit to me, because that doesn't mean you're a grown man or a
Oh,
grown woman.
definitely not. I would
Okay,
never. I
actually,
would.
let me get on that.
Okay.
So
Oh gosh.
I was in the comment section, this one group or whatever, and everybody was coming down on me because the topic of conversation was kicking your children out at 18 isn't right. So, and everybody was like, oh, that's wrong. Black people need to stop doing that, blah, 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 blah. Well, I chimed in and I was like, yeah, that's definitely horrible if that's the case, that literally when you turn 18,
Uh-oh.
your parents kicked you out just the
Cut
fact
out.
that you're 18 and you're legal adult now. But for the most people that I know who kick their kid out at a young age, like 18 or 19 or whatever, it's because once that child has turned 18 and they feel like they're grown now they don't want to follow the rules of the house. You think that you being grown under my roof is somehow changing some shit, and you want to come in on all hours of the night. You don't want to get a job. You want to just live your
But
life
that's the kind of
under
children
my
that
roof
you
like
raised
that.
at the end of the
That
day. So you have to
I
deal with
mean,
that.
yes, I mean that is true. But
You ever,
sometimes, when children, when they think they grown, they be like, they get a wild hair up their ass and like, I don't want to go straight up to college. I want to,
you
And
ever
that's
see
you know
that?
what I
fine.
mean?
And
So
that's fine. But what you're not going to do is sit here and smoke weed in my house, or sit here and not have a
exactly.
job. So, or
Well,
sit
they were
here and,
smoking weed
you
the
don't
whole
have to go
time,
straight to
but
college, but you have to do something with your life. You have to. You're not
exactly.
just
And
going
if
to
they
sit here and
don't
not
want
do
to do
anything.
that, then
Because first of all,
they
I can
need to
tell you
go
in
be
my
grown
household that
somewhere
ain't gonna
else.
happen. My husband ain't gonna have that. So,
So
Exactly.
so let me ask you this: are you teaching your kids to be entrepreneurs? Because I know you say you have your own.
I'm yeah. Well, the thing is that I'm teaching my kids to do whatever they want to do. I want them to be happy. If they want to be entrepreneurs, if they what I don't, some people are meant to be entrepreneurs. Some people,
Yeah,
don't,
just
that's not their calling. Um,
Nobody's meant to be anything but what they work hard at and what
yeah.
they became successful at.
I mean,
So
I want them to be
exactly.
successful at whatever they want to do. And I just support my kids in that. That's really what I could say about that. I just want my kids to be happy. I want them to, um, be, just, I don't want my kids to
Happy and
have to
successful at
recover
the end of the day.
from
yeah,
nothing.
I feel
You know what
like
I'm saying?
education is a must,
Definitely. But
right?
it's not end all be all.
Yeah,
It's not
most parents need to stop as soon as their kid graduate high school, go to
pushing
college. Shit,
college. I'm
that's a
pushing
dead.
2-year college because I'm trying to cut down on this cost a little bit.
You're you're
Yeah,
you're
junior college.
putting you're putting $100,000 debt on your child that don't know shit about finance,
And
credit,
that's now.
or
By the
what's
time
going on. So by the time he's born, by the time they go out on their own, like I'm
Hmm.
free now, he's paying off Sally Mae. Like, yo,
Yeah.
100 and
Well,
something
that's
thousand.
one thing that goes with, the parents and setting up for their children to be in that position. If they do want to go to college, that, we be like, okay. I told my kids, my husband, he wasn't raised with a father in the home. He was raised with his grandfather raising him, which is a male figure that he holds, close to him. But at the same time, he comes from an extremely small town. I mean, like 2 stoplight Texas, super country, small town. And there was nothing there. There was no, it was just the same thing. He wasn't content with just doing just being there. Like his brothers and sisters, they're not like his family was. That wasn't what he wanted to do. So the only way he did go to college. He did actually go to college, and for do a 4 years college. He's very intelligent. He went to a 4-year college, and he was his parents wasn't helping him any type of way financially. I mean, nothing. And I remember a pivotal point when he actually told me this. Honestly, he told me this like one time randomly when we was married, and one of the things that he still holds one of the reasons why he even joined the military, because he didn't want to. That was something that he didn't want to do. But he was like, he said, I was in college, I was struggling, I was working 2 jobs. I didn't have enough money to pay to get my to wash my clothes, to go to the laundromat. He said, so I asked my mother if she can, and this is a single mother that he was raised by, but with his grandfather and grandparent in the home. He said, I asked my mom, can you give me some, money to wash my clothes? And she said, no, I don't got it. And he said after that, he said that was basically, the last straw for him. And he was like, I'm trying to do what I got to do and, try to be a man of what I think a man is supposed to be, and work and go to college and do it the way that I'm supposed to do it. But the little help that I didn't get any type of help when that was the thing, even that little thing about him just needing to wash his clothes, that little thing was his pivotal turn in life when be like, you know what? This is I gotta do what I gotta do to get me not to, have to ask somebody to do nothing. So the best thing he could do at that point was, okay, well, let's go join the military. Because, okay, they'll pay for my schooling. I won't go in debt. I won't be broke. I'll still get a paycheck. I can still go to school. So my husband is on his master's right now and not in debt at all. You know what I'm saying? Because he used the military to his advantage to do what he
GI
did.
bill is the shit.
Yeah.
I can't hear you. My phone went out. What'd you say?
I said that GI bill is the shit.
Exactly. And then he transferred the GI Bill to me and the kids, so we don't have to worry about that, because he could go for free. He didn't need to use it. You know what I'm saying? He did programs, he did scholarships, all in the military, free. The resources. That's why people don't understand why people join the military. It's the benefits and the resources. You use what you need to get the fuck out of there. Okay? Like, get yourself, prepare yourself ahead. You know what I'm saying? Do what you need to do. If you don't want to make a career out of this, just use it as a stepping stone, because you could do so much more when you don't have these student loans, and doing it the way that you know what I'm saying? It could help. And it helps you with structure. It helps you with learning how to manage your money. You know what I'm saying? And
Student
things
loan
like
debt
that.
is a bitch.
It is. So he did all of this on his own, from that pivotal, from him, that little thing with him feeling some type of way about somebody not helping him getting money, well, his mother not helping him getting money to wash his clothes. He said, you know what? This is what I need to do. To not be in this position, and he used what he needed it to, and he used the military for what he needed to use it for, to get him to where he needed to be. And now he has his master's. He's getting his master's currently. He's in school now, even though he's deployed. But thanks to the military, like I said, he doesn't have to use any of his GI Bill. He's just going off of just, these military programs and scholarships. But, like I said, the kids, he's all for, he's more geared toward the schooling aspect for our children. He doesn't want them to join the military, because he's like, that shouldn't even be an option for them unless they want to join as officers. That's why he's just like, so.
And that's the thing for me. Like, if my kids get older, I'm gonna say, hey, I don't want to go to college. I'm gonna be like, yo, listen, you have to learn a different trade every 3 months.
Yeah, a trade. And that's the key word, trade.
Every 3 months. The reason why they can't take that, it can't take that shit away from you. Pay for it once.
Exactly. And that's what we're not pushing to our children, especially. And that's why I hate that they don't have home ec. They don't have, like, what's that? The mechanic.
Oh, they took it away.
The shit in schools, and what's that stuff? Like wood shop. Mechanical stuff.
Yeah,
whatever that shit was called. I don't even know what it was called, because they didn't even have it in there when I was in high school. They need that shit back. They really do.
I think it's called a shop class or some shit like that. You could
wood shop or something. They need those were trades.
But look,
these boys
you're going to college
don't even know how to change a tire. They don't know how to do just simple little things that honestly those classes really could, you know, help if their
But
parent, if they don't have a 2-parent household or you know, a male figure to, you know, teach them how to do those things.
but you're going to college for those
No,
classes.
college don't teach you trades, okay? It
No,
don't.
that most of them shits are college courses now.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, but you know, but that's why I say I'm not pushing my sons necessarily to go to college, but you're gonna have, like you said, a trade. Trades, like you could be electrician, no college
You need
degree.
skills.
You can make you know, $70 an hour. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Them dudes is what making the bread. Like
that's what I'm saying. You know, everybody wants to push college and on your kids when it's really a trade, because it's always going to be a need for a trade, either be in the health, either
Shoot,
what do they say?
think
Always be
about
in the
how much.
business of life
Think about
or have a trade, because you're always gonna. There's no one that can ever. There's no robot that can replace. You know, those things. And
yeah.
really, I mean, well,
what do
I
you
said,
you
think
know,
about
things like that.
how much money all them plumbers is making in Dallas right
Yeah,
now
you always need a plumber. Shit, I own my own
with
house,
them
and
broke
I'm just
pipes.
like, okay, and my ass was trying to fix some shit, and we had to call the plumber, and I'm like, okay, well, damn, $50, you just fucking snake this shit for 30 minutes.
Yeah,
God.
Oh, and that's cheap.
yeah,
No,
And
I
then,
was just no, it
yeah.
wasn't. It was more than $50. But what I'm
yeah,
saying is like,
and he
I
take
felt
lunch
like
on
he
you.
just snaked the shit, but you know, I had to pay for labor and all this other shit.
He take lunch on you
Yeah.
and come back like, yo, you
Okay,
missing
I'll
a
be
part.
like,
Give me
he
a
was
second.
like,
That's an extra charge.
okay,
This person said, I don't know why I can't see their face and name. It
yeah,
says resources and family structure is amazing when you find the right combination.
that is extremely. That's facts all the way.
Yeah,
Facts.
How do you know when the
definitely.
combination is correct?
When everything is working, shit. Like when there's no problems,
Yeah,
everything is good.
Okay,
exactly.
what are some of the main problems in parenting? Why is the parenting dynamic so confrontational? Is it mostly because of the men, or is the men not wanting to um basically, what do you call it, subject to the woman?
Um,
What do you mean by confrontational? Like,
I don't. Yeah, I was like, I'm not.
So remember earlier, you know what the hell confrontation mean? Like you
I
got
know,
like
but
I know. I'm just trying to figure out how you're using
earlier,
it. Like, so, yeah.
yeah, in a
earlier we
parenting
were
context.
talking about how, you know, some moms will try to talk down to the father in front of the
Mhm,
kids and
mhm.
vice versa, right? So what I'm saying is, like, I'm gonna just put it simpler so you understand. Whose fault is it why there's not more father in the household? My accent want to come out, so pardon me.
I feel like that's an individual basis type
Yeah.
thing. I mean, because there's a lot of questions to be asking that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like,
But
what are the origins of how the chick got pregnant in the first place?
Yeah.
If you tell me how you got pregnant in the first place, I can tell you why your baby daddy not around.
Well,
Or
I can say from my
or
own. This is my own personal. I'm talking about myself. I'm just speaking on myself.
no.
I was raised by a single mother. I didn't have a father like that in the household. My father died when I was, 12 years old. So I didn't have that father, even when he was alive, he really wasn't, present as he should have been. Um, but in a sense, so my mom raised me to be, independent, single. She raised me to take care of myself. Okay. She didn't raise me to be somebody's wife. Okay.
okay,
So she raised me. I seen how it is. I seen what it was to be a good mother. I know what I didn't want to do when I had kids. I know, like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this when I have kids. But for some reason, like I said, she didn't know, she wasn't a wife. So you can't really, I feel like, you just raise her, raising her daughter the best of her capabilities and what she could. And me going into my marriage, well, because me and my, now husband, but back then, me and my boyfriend, we doing things and, shit happens and I'm pregnant. Boom. And my mentality went to single mother, unfortunately, because that's what that's what, honestly, that I didn't, even though he was a good guy and I liked him and he did nothing. My husband's never even raised his voice at me, almost, because like he's super respectful. I'm not saying he's perfect. He's far from perfect, but he's very respectful. So he collects his thoughts before he speaks. But at the same sense, he's never did nothing bad. This man has never did nothing bad to me. He's everything. He's been, that's why I chose to marry him. But in my mind, I'm like, I told him when I was pregnant, when I found I was pregnant with my first son, I literally said, I'm pregnant. So I don't know what you gonna do, but I'm gonna have this baby. So I was just letting you know. And my husband, well, and kid looked at me like, honestly, he looked at me like, well, damn, bitch, like, where do I come into play with this shit?
Right.
Like, okay, well, you seem like you got to figure it out. Like, but what about me?
Yeah.
But that was the mentality that I had, because that's just what, honestly, I was raised to think. And it's sad because we're raised by so many single mothers that I didn't, know what it was. I just was thought, I'm going to be a single mother. I have to do what I need to do to take care of mine. That's my mindset, because that's what my mom raised me to do, to be.
Yeah.
Y'all was born ready, yo, from the dolly houses, the dolls, how to change diapers, and it's like y'all was psychologically being bred for that family shit.
I mean, yeah.
I yes and no.
Because
my thing is, you've been bred for the parenting aspect. Now, if I don't get the family, that's not going to take away.
Yeah,
from me being a mother.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I'm saying. But look,
it's absolutely natural for us to want to be a parent, to want to be a mother one day. If the family doesn't come with that, so be it. Is the mindset a lot of these chicks go with.
You know what's funny? Yeah. That still stay on my point, what I was trying to make. Like, y'all pay attention to it. Y'all say men act like kids, right? Most women, let me not generalize it. Most women,
we'll say that. Okay.
Most women say men act like kids.
I could see that. I could see that. I don't agree with it, but I could see
their toys and so on. Their toys and so on and so forth. Pay attention to how, like, you guys, you had the doll houses, you had the strollers, you had this, you had that. What did the man have? G.I. Joe, the cars, the video games, the comic books, and so on and so forth. So when he gets into an adult, that shit still reflects his childhood, even when he has a kid.
But do you think that's healthy?
What makes it unhealthy, though?
Well, the thing is, okay, so this is a great example because of Chantrice. It's because how. Oh, I was reading the comment. I'm sorry. So, I was actually, for Christmas, my third son, my third son is he's the boy out of all of them. I mean, all of them are, pretty, atypical boys, but this is my playing dirt, jump off things, break arms on the weekends. He's just the boy, the rough one. So he takes me for a loop in urgent care all the time, but he has a soft side. And this is when we're going back to what we originally stated about, tradition, back in the day parenting. And now he has a very sensitive soft side. He is a mama's boy. He is that boy. If that boy could get back inside of me and just stick his hands out for snacks, he would. He is under me more than any other son I have. And he is just literally in my ass, literally. And it drives me crazy. I love him. But anyways, the point that I'm getting is for Christmas, I know that he's so sensitive and he loves babies, right? So in, our reality, especially with our Black boys, we're, it's not masculine for them to play with dolls. It's not masculine for them to do these things. My son is sensitive. He's a boy. He loves dinosaurs and all that. He loves, all the cars, but he loves babies. That's his thing. And so when I seen Christmas, I seen a black baby alive. It was a little boy. It looked just like him. I mean, dark curly hair, big eyes, looked just like him. And I fell in love with the doll because, first of all, I never even seen a black boy little doll, period. Honestly, like, I just never seen it. And I'm like, okay, everything is inclusive now, whatever, that's cool. So I said, my son would probably love this, You know what I'm saying? And I didn't, double think about getting it, and what, people, probably in my other family members, might have thought like, okay, why did she buy her son a doll? Why did she, do this? But I'm like, I, actually posted it on my Facebook, and he loves this doll. I mean, when I say he named him, first of all, he named his name is Jalen. He named his doll Jalen Jr. And he said, "This is my son." And he changes his diapers. Okay, we done bought diapers. He feeds him. He takes his son everywhere, and I don't see it as me
Emasculating him.
emasculate. I was trying to get it out. Yeah, emasculating my son. With that, I look at it as I'm trying to teach him how to be a father. I'm not looking at it as, oh, my little boy, I don't want him playing with this because this ain't, boys don't do that. Boys, we have to get out of that, especially being, in the Black community. And I'm like, I'm teaching my son how to take care of his damn kids, okay? So he won't be clueless.
And he loves the freaking doll.
And he loves the shit out of that damn doll.
Okay, I'm not gonna, and I think I said this to you before, Chantrice. Mm-hmm. If there weren't any eyes around, nobody would give a shit about how the next person look or what the next person does and so on and so forth.
Yes,
but based on how society's structured, is that we look at things a certain way. And a lot of kids are innocent. They don't know these terminologies, or they don't pay attention to these things. No, would I buy my son a doll? No, because I'm a traditional man, I suppose. Like,
my husband wouldn't either, but I was like, me being a mother and me wanting to teach my sons how to love and how to care and nurture for their children. I said, you know what?
You would like that baby.
But like you said, you teaching him how to raise a man. That doll is not going to teach him how to raise a man. This father
it's teaching him how to take care of his kids and be responsible. That's what it's teaching him.
What stage of taking care of his kids are we talking about?
Because a lot of women have issues with, their, child's father not being involved completely because, he could be there, but he might not literally be there. Like, you can have a man in your household and a father of your children, but that doesn't mean that he's checked in and actually helping you with y'all children. Like, that doesn't mean he's helping changing diapers. That doesn't mean he's helping feeding baby. You're doing everything yourself.
I get that. And I mean, you can touch that back. You can throw that back to say a lot of 40-year-olds don't know how to boil water on the female side.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
but that's why I'm teaching my sons how to cook, so they won't be impressed with the next bitch's little punk ass chicken Alfredo. Okay.
The thing, like I said, nobody knows the blueprint to being a parent, because even over loving or over caring for your kid can be a bad thing as well. You can stifle them to the point, even when they turn adult, they just keep coming back to you.
Agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll be the parent forever, but still, you got to learn when to
independence.
Swim. So, and that's what I think. Like, seeing a lot of dudes my age now, I'm like, yo, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So, it's weird. Parenting now is weird.
It is. That's what we could just sum it up to. As just it's fucking weird, and it's a roller coaster, and it's all, especially with I'm gonna say parenting in the quarantine. We the first ones to ever do this shit, and I mean this alone. Wait, the father who says.
Yeah, she said.
Yeah, a father that I don't agree with. I'm sorry, I'm reading the comment. I don't agree with that babysitting shit. How I do it is that I run it past. I respect my husband, and I run it past. But hey, I'm going out. I'll be back at this time. Bye. Oh, the kids didn't eat. Make them lunch. That's the best he gonna get out of me. I don't ask it's not that, people be like, oh, well, that's not respectful. You're not asking your husband. I don't have to ask him to fucking take care of our kids. Those are his. Exactly. I'm respectful and just letting them know, like, hey, I need to step out for a bit. So,
there's two separations though. Like what you're saying, I understand, but you got to also look the divide in household. Like, she may be in one and he's in another. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Oh,
yeah,
well, yeah, that aspect. I'm thinking, togetherness. So
the word
that's different.
sucks. The word suck, like, because to babysit someone, you have to give them back to their biological parent. It's you're the biological parents. You're not babysitting. That's
some
you.
men think they're babysitting their own kids. Like, here, you need to go back to your mama's house. That's what some men think.
But that's trifling and that's stupid.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
That's you. That's quality time. And a lot of things that most women and most men don't understand. Like, you gotta study the kids as well, right? Because what I start to realize is a kid who live with their mom. Like, I see this with my experience. Like, my sons, like, she could talk to them like 100 times. They come by me, I said it once, they get it.
Yeah, definitely. I get that aspect.
I mean, you can see,
in my home too.
So the father is needed within that household.
Definitely.
Even if he's not in the physical household, he's needed.
Your presence, always.
Yeah. And now we're like, we don't want nobody to talk to the kids. Like, nah, if my kids go outside and an adult is talking to them, they could talk to them as long as I don't touch them. I was born in Jamaica. They were able to bust our ass and send our home. And when your parents find out, like, yo, why did this person bust your ass? And they find out, like, they bust your ass again.
Right. Good time.
Yeah. Like Eddie Griffin said, I got whooped out of the penitentiary.
Exactly.
So yeah. We need to go back to a lot of traditional. I think we can take from both sides and put them together and become stronger, because I feel like there's no tradition anymore. There's no morality.
Yes.
It's like the moral compass is tossed out the window. Like, fam, you're a mom, but you're with your daughter clubbing? Y'all going after the same dude?
Ridiculous.
Well, when you had her at 14, I mean, what do you expect?
But they're both kids. They raised each other in a sense. They grew up together. So what do you expect?
And your kid is not your damn friend, yo. Your kid is not your best friend.
I don't agree with that.
No,
I don't agree. I believe they are your friend after they turn 18.
Your kid is not your friend. And for most females, your sons are not your man. They're not your boyfriend. Cut that shit out.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, your daughter is not your woman, son.
Yeah.
Cut that shit out.
I agree.
It's mad creepy too, and they don't realize
it is. It really is.
That they're putting a lot of pressure on the child. By doing that.
And why? You know what I'm saying? Like, and two, so like about the topic, like, of like teaching your children responsibility and to be, successful in life, not going back to the, kicking them out at 18. And like, no kid is ready to be out at 18. I don't care what you said. They may think they may be, but they're not ready. Or they were forced to be.
And stop fucking their credits up.
I don't.
Right.
I don't think that no kid is ready. And I would never, ever, shove my sons out. But in the sense, I am getting I'm not babying them as, a mother would baby their sons. In a sense, I'm trying to prepare them for, the outside world. And, because I have a double-edged sword. I have 4 Black sons, and I have one that has medical disabilities and, that has autism. So I'm having to teach them a lot. It's a lot of pressure. Me and my husband it's a lot of pressure on trying to get them ready for the world. And we're going to give them every tool, everything that we can to get them ready, to battle it. Like, for instance, I said, my mom was a single mother. My mom, I'm so good with our finances and everything. And my husband trusts me with everything he has, because he sees how good I am with finances. And that's all about trust. That's a whole nother, situation. But what I'm saying is that my mother, as a single parent and on her shit, taking care of herself and not depending on, no one to take, even though she didn't have, because my father actually, passed away. So she didn't have, to even rely on that, a physical person anymore, period, for anything. She did everything she did. So I remember my mom started a bank account for me a savings account. I still have this savings account. Me being 32 years old, I still have the same bank account from when I was 5 years old. No lie.
Oh man,
Same thing.
Your relationship is good with your bank. We talk later.
No, what I'm saying is
I understand. I
that
get
my
it.
mom taught me and gave me these tools. She taught me when I was the little things that she taught me. Like, you know, back then it was writing check. Kids don't write checks no more. But I had a little purse with my little fake checkbook. She would write a check. I would write a check right next to her. She taught me. She taught me about finance. She taught me how to do everything. And that's why I'm so good with finances. And that's what
powerful.
Those things took, you know, from me being, you know, a child and not really getting it, thinking it's just like, okay, whatever. That took to me being a teenager, and it took to me being an adult, and then it took to me being, in a in a wife, and then me trying to teach my kids how to manage their finances. So, it's just like it's a full circle. And if you just, I feel like, you just teach your kids, give them what they need. Just
That's
give them
powerful.
what they need, and
That's
what
powerful.
just give them all the tools, give them everything they need to be successful. And all you do is teach them the right way, and they may stray, they may, do, because every person,
but if you did your job, they'll always come back. I
at
think
the
it's
end of the day,
natural
if you
for
give
kids
your
to
kids the
stray a little
tools you
bit.
need, they may stray, but they're going to come back, and they're going to come back strong, and they're going to make you proud eventually. And if your kids is fucking rotten, sitting there not trying to do shit, and disrespecting you in your home, then you just raise some fucked up ass kids. So that just shows on your parenting. So
exactly.
it's the truth.
In other words, she's saying you're fucked up yourself. So that's why
exactly. And you exactly. That's what the point I was trying to make.
Listen, even with my little nephews, I like that because my sister ain't teaching them shit. I like that when they come and see grandma, and they answer her, they'll say yes, ma'am. Because my sister ain't teach them that. They'll say yes, ma'am. They know not to answer my mom no or what, and what did the baby do the other day? The baby's his new thing is thank you to everything. Like I was like, oh, bless you. He's like, thank you. I'm like, you don't have to say thank you.
And that's the thing. I mean, do you teach your sons
but they're learning something?
Yeah, instill them with, like respect.
Oh, and to not sit here and look
respect to earn respect, and
and not to sit here and look in grandma and auntie's face when they gossiping. And don't repeat what you heard in this house.
I mean, yeah, my husband, he's trying to instill, in our sons, the yes ma'am, no sir. He's from the South, so I think it's just a respect factor. So my sons say yes ma'am, no sir. They're not as strict as when he's not here, but when we're, around strangers, they do it. But once again, that's him parenting his sons how he sees fit.
And the fact that they know they need to fall in line when daddy is home is important.
Yeah, well, they need to fall in line shit when I'm home. They be doing
that's up to you to get them to do
no,
that.
I get them in line, and that's why I have to, and I kind of have to straddle the fence of not, that's a hard thing that I actually am trying to find, the balance of not being such a I'm not like, I'm trying to find the word, not domineering, not control freak, but just not trying to be so aggressive with them. And I don't want them to look at a Black woman as aggressive, because I have to be a disciplining aspect because of the absence of my husband and his job. So I feel like I have to kind of be a little rougher around the edges than I normally would when he's not home. And I'm trying to find that healthy balance. I don't want to have bad relationship, like, oh, women all think that's okay because women is yell, or women is this way, because sometimes it's it just being one parent in the house, so you do yell a little bit more, you do you know what I'm saying, it's a lot of things.
I mean, you got to be the best guide you can, because that's what we're there for, not to control them but to guide them, basically. Queen said, why they mouth so bad though? She's right. Because like back when I was growing up, if I dare even utter shh or damn, man,
because these kids, I'm telling you, these kids ain't getting popped in the mouth no more.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, you know
They
what?
not
I
getting
think
popped
I
in the
got a
mouth
little
in
bit of old
public.
school. I didn't think that I had a lot of old school values. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think whoopings and beating your kids' ass for everything is normal, but I do practice in, beating ass every here and there. And my oldest son told me he was at a he went through a scary house for Halloween. And he wasn't scared. He was like, oh, everybody was screaming and stuff. And he was just sitting there and he was like, oh, and he came in the house after they got done trick-or-treating and did whatever. And I said, oh, was you scared at the haunted house you went in? He said, no. And he was like, no, the only thing I'm scared of is you, Mom. And I started dying. And I'm like, I thought it was funny, but then I'm like, wait, like, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, because it's like I'm the disciplinarian, the main disciplinarian right now, but it's like, I don't know if I want my sons to be scared of me. I mean, they
Listen,
know mommy is a little,
fuck all that.
unstable, a little
You have to
crazy.
put the
They
fear.
know that I
I
talk to
want
them, but
to.
they know mommy will hem them up too.
I want
While
a
I can.
tad bit. I want a
You
tad bit of fear.
you need
Like
fear.
Yeah,
You have to put the fear of
I
God in your
want.
children
that's
at
what
a
I'm like.
young age.
What's the balance? What's a
I
healthy
want.
balance?
I want a tad. I don't even know how to give you a healthy balance. Like I'm the type of father that would like. Have you ever punched yourself in the face? Like, have you ever squat for 15 minutes straight?
Yeah.
The last time I did that, he act like he was dying.
That's exactly what my
Or
husband does to my son, and that's what I'm
or
saying. It's just like
or because
Listen, get the fear
I used
first
to
and you'll get the respect later.
I used
yeah,
to pop them, but I don't do that anymore. Like even when I'm like, yo, listen, y'all are brothers. Why y'all fighting? I'll put them in the same shirt and make sure the shirt extra tight.
they be
So
next to
like,
each other.
so
Yep.
yeah, so you're in front of your brother face. Like if you're
Yep.
not trying to kiss him, you got to turn left. He got to turn right.
Yep.
Yeah, like certain things. Like cool. When I was growing up, fam, like the amount of shit I got broken up on me and skin wealth, bleeding and joint.
Okay.
Did
She
not tell
she
you not to
killed
love
you
do
and
it.
that.
brought you back and shit.
Right. I
Yeah,
love it. I love it.
yeah, like you know what I'm saying?
Took you to death's door
Listen,
and
Like
just
but the
hung you
point
over
is,
and
yeah,
brought
fam,
you back.
listen,
you ever got
my
hit and you want to
theory
speak
is
and can't talk?
you gotta beat your kids every so often so you know their limits. All
Yeah.
these women who be like beating their kids to death, it's because they don't beat them often enough. And they fuck around and kill them.
Okay, Miss Jenkins.
No, clearly I'm joking, but
I'm like, wait, what?
she kid.
Lord have
Yeah.
but
mercy.
I'm saying though,
Uh-huh.
if you never do it, children always think you bluffing.
Whoa, she said beatboxing by blowing air as if you were you were told to do something was a cuss word back then. Like slamming the door too was disrespectful back. She's so
Oh,
right.
no.
She is
It
right.
was.
You don't
She's
slam no doors in this
100%.
house. No.
Absolutely not. That bitch be off the
100%.
hinges.
Like,
Okay.
yo, you
Right,
paying bills? You
exactly.
paying bills in here?
See, but that's respect. That's the respect that is lacking now when they feel they have the
Exactly.
right. And I honestly, I blame the parents, but I blame like the school systems and the therapists and all. I blame all the motherfuckers too, because they think
Yes.
like you do not have rights like that. I am your fucking parent. If I tell you to get your ass over here and don't be slamming no goddamn, you can't talk to me that way. Do you know I'll be ready to go to jail that day?
No.
Nah, you
I'll be
getting it
ready.
wrong. You getting it wrong though. I think you getting it no. You pay rent. You're not a parent. You need to learn the difference. We pay rent for them.
Mm-hmm.
We're just holding them, but they belong
Holding
to
that
them.
spot.
Yeah, we're paying rent for them. They belong to them.
Mm-hmm.
I used to get my ass beat to the point of no return. And then I don't know if this was rhetorical, it was sarcasm or what. Yo, listen, you gonna call who? The police? I'll call them right now.
Okay.
And when they come, I'm gonna beat your ass in front of the door so they can see too. And guess what? They ain't gonna do nothing. Do you know how traumatizing that is? You mean like they can't come to save me?
No.
I'm done.
Well, that's what I say. I say to my kids, if they try to, I'll be like, you know what happens when you don't want to listen to me? I say, you want to call the police on me? Because actually my third son tried to say, I'm gonna call the police on you. You're gonna go to jail. Call the police on my ass. And I said, you know who they gonna take away? You, not me. So you be ready not to see me, your brothers, daddy, nobody. I said, because they take the kids away. They don't take me away. I said, and then I got to
Exactly.
fight for your little ass back. You better be glad if I like you enough to do that.
Right.
Understandable. Hey guys, it's about that time. I know y'all
Yes,
got curfew, so
I understand.
um what anything you would pass forth to a younger parent?
I would just say, just try to, cliche, break the generational curse, but in the same time, use your better judgment. As in, if you didn't like the way it felt as you being a child growing up, don't do it to your kids. And so that'll be one less of a reason, for it to be something traumatic that happens to them. You know what I'm saying? And learn your child's love language. That's the biggest thing that I always promote talking to any parent. Learn your, because they need to be parented different, especially if you have multiple children. You can't parent all the same. You don't love them all the same. It's different. You don't love them any less than one another, but just the point of, you have to learn how to parent each one of your children. And then when you learn that, it makes it so much easier. And that's all I can go with it. Yeah.
Chantrice?
All I can say is do your best to identify the traumas that you've grown up with and try not to pass them on to your children. And that there's no shame in therapy. A lot of parents need therapy from either um dealing with the issues that you dealt with growing up, or just the we're not talking about how postpartum depression affects a lot of mothers nowadays, and just dealing with parenting in general. If you need to talk to someone like a legit therapist, not your homegirl or your mother, you know what I mean? There's no shame in that.
Yep.
I respect it. And another thing, stop killing your child's potential. Stop telling them they ain't shit. They not gonna
Yeah.
be shit. They will never reflect their father. Whatever disdain you had for whatever parents you dealt with when you had your kid, leave that shit with the parent.
Yes.
Uplift your kid.
Always.
Tell them and teach them and be the proper guide. Stop being so difficult, because you were a kid too. You're doing the same shit or probably even worse. So stop with the bullshit. Like, oh, I couldn't talk to my parents like that. Well, you're the parent now. Have the conversation. And with that being said, elevation and love. Be you, stand tall, stand strong, and just keep flowing. Enjoy every moment. And if you'd like to participate in our lives, please send me a friend request on Facebook. Inquire about how you can join the group MEN-talRollaDeK. And don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube at MEN-talRollaDeK. And every major, whether Spotify, whether Apple Podcasts, and so on. I don't remember all the names, but please search MEN-talRollaDeK and subscribe, listen, share, and comment. And gratitude for watching. Peace.